Hi everyone, wanted to do a video about Traxxas clutch problems. So I have a Summit. I've had the Summit for 4 years, or right around 4 years. This thing's been brushless for about 2 years, maybe almost 3 years now. Certainly applies to the Summit. The Revo has the same style transmission, so this may help you out also. I'm not sure if the Emax does, and may definitely work on other Traxxas models, but figured I'd do a video about something I found out. If you have a clutch issue, if you have the clicking issue, my truck didn't do that, maybe just a slight hint of clicking, but really slipping clutch was my problem. Anyways, had this truck, like I said, 3-4 years, and I broke the clutch. Normally, I take it apart, I take my time, I look at everything real good, and I fix it. Or I order the parts and then fix it. But in this situation, I broke the truck. I happened to be driving past my local hobby shop. I figure I'll run in there. I was on the way to a friend's house. I figure I'll run in there, grab the parts, and go. So I go inside, I borrow their tools. I take the inspection cover off right there in the store. I say, oh yeah, I need a clutch. Give me a clutch. Spur gear looked pretty bad, so I said, give me a spur gear too, and I left. I ended up putting this thing together about later on that night. Put it together. It was super cold outside. Drove it for a few minutes outside. Seemed good. Next day, I charge up a battery. I go outside, and clearly the clutch is slipping really bad. I adjusted it a little more, adjusted it a little more, and no matter where I adjusted it, the clutch had an issue and was slipping a lot more than normal. So I started thinking, hey, had this truck 4 years, I've only gone through one clutch, and then the second clutch ends up burning up in one day. So something is causing it to do this. But I ended up getting the 5352X, I believe, which is the compressed aluminum type material. I wasn't even aware that a different clutch, heavier duty clutch, was available, but this time around I bought a heavy duty clutch, but that is still not going to fix my issue. But I figure I'll try it, see if it lasts longer than the first one. Here's what I found out. The driven flange, that one right there, when you spin it, it's wobbly. You can see that, but clearly it's wobbly. Look at the shaft. Shaft looks pretty good. But the flange is wobbly. So what you can also notice is once you take the inspection cover off, you can simply spin the rear tire, and watch the spur gear. And in my case, the spur gear was going back and forth a little tiny bit, and it never did that before. So I figured there was an issue, and that's the issue. So just figured I'd do a video to let you know that if you replace a clutch and then everything's good, don't worry about it. But if you replace a clutch and then it goes bad right away, you may want to get more than just the the steel and the frictions and the little spring that's in the kit and replace it, you may want to get the supporting parts. Supporting parts being the driven hub that the metal disc sits on, and then get the drive hub that's bolted to the spur gear. I'm not sure if there's an issue with the drive hub, but there's definitely an issue with the driven hub. There's also a little pin in there. I looked at the pin seems to be straight, so I don't think there's a problem with the pin, but while you got it apart, might as well replace the little pin. Also check your bearing. My bearing was in really bad shape, so I ended up getting the clutch kit, the 2 supporting pieces, a new bearing, and a new spur gear. But if you have a slipping clutch, if you have that clicking sound, very likely this is your problem. This is what's happening. And what ends up happening is the drive hub pushes on the driven hub, and what ends up happening is one pad at a time applies more friction to the steel disc than the other two, and in essence that is what's causing it to slip. You want those 3 pads to apply pressure to this driven hub equally instead of one applying more pressure than the other two. But that is definitely an issue. Question is, why or how does this happen? 2 things that I came up with is, 1, I got my clutch pretty hot, so possibly overheating the clutch caused this thing to warp, or simply it happened from over tightening the clutch, ended up causing this aluminum piece to bend a little bit. More likely it was just over tightened that caused the issue. But figured I'd do a video about this. Hopefully this helps somebody out. If you have a Summit, Revo, what have you, this will probably work in other Traxxas models, but figured this could definitely help somebody out. So that's all I got. Thanks for watching.